What's up, guys? Miguel here with Market Open. Relatively slow morning. I want to talk to you guys about the trades that I took. I actually ended up taking two counter trend trades. It was so slow today. The first trade I took though this morning was on INTC. I will be the first one to say I hate shorting this thing. I hate shorting Intel. It ends up not working out. I should probably really put it on my do not short list. So INTC was gapping down this morning. It actually had some sort of news behind it. Let's see here. So it price cut from 53 or 253 from 62. So it was gapping down below the major moving average here. Hold on one second. This thing is messing up. There we go. Okay, so it's gapping down below the major moving average here around 49, and the short ended up not working out. Wasn't really quite the best setup, but I wanted to go ahead and take it. So this morning it gapped down, it filled all the way down. Most of the action kind of took place all the way up here. So it opened and closed basically exactly in the same spot. So the opening range breakdown would be within the first 5-minute candle. If it gaps down, you want to short it under the 5-minute low. So that's what I ended up doing. As you guys can see, it ended up coming all the way to the top here, but ended up not making a new high, which is causing me to have a longer and bigger stop. So if it breaks down below the low, you go ahead and short it. Now, I got triggered here at Intel 4848, so at the bottom of this candle. Unfortunately, I got a little bit of slippage. So my entry was supposed to be 4852. A couple of cents of slippage, not a big deal, but with something like Intel, how it actually ended up shooting back up, and it was kind of close to kicking me out. It ended up not doing it though, but it did not reach my target. It was 48.18 or so I needed at least 25 cents to be able to get out of this thing, so it ended up not doing it. Right here in this area, I thought about getting out, and because I hate it when it climbs back up and over VWAP and the 9, and because now that's providing support for it. So as you can see, this candle here rocketed up, kicked me out. So ended up taking a $128 loss on INTC. Next trade was on PX. So PX here was a counter trend trade. Counter trend trade because PX was actually supposed to be my main candidate for a short, but I noticed that there is a major moving average. Let me link this. 1 year. Alright, so there's a major moving average here. The 200-day moving average, you'll see here at 154.95. So basically just 155. And I knew that I was gapping down around that area. It came back up and bounced, and it hit right at the 200-day moving average. It came back up and bounced again, 200-day moving average, the 9, and VWAP are all providing support. So now we have the 9, VWAP, and we have the 200-day moving average. That's three things that are providing support for the stock. And to me, this looked like a triangle. So right here, so 156. Hold on, let me take this thing out so you guys can see. Remove. And just draw the line here. Just an ascending wedge, so it's moving up. To me, if it broke out over 156 again, then it was most likely going to go over the high, which was 156.08. And as you guys can see, I got filled at 156.11. 150 shares. So I actually ended up putting my stop right here at the bottom of this last pullback. So 155.37. And as you can see, it slowly climbs straight up. Now, up here, I needed at least 70 to 80 cents to be able to get out of it. So if you notice, it started getting around here, and then just out of nowhere, this volume just popped and it just went. So I ended up selling 112 shares because that's 3/4 of my position. 112 shares, then I sold 20, then 18, and that's basically how I pieced out of PX. Now it's actually starting to form another triangle here, but I'm most likely not going to take it. No, I'm not going to end up taking it. It is forming another triangle, so let me draw it out for you guys again. So here and there. The reason why I'm not taking it, it's because it's 12:11 right now, and there's significantly lower volume during lunch. So it's a little bit harder for things to just break out and go. The market is going higher, if you guys will notice here on the SPY. So on Link. So the market's basically just been going straight up this morning. So which kind of hinders my shorts because the market's going in the complete opposite direction. So Intel's going along with it and it's headed higher as well. So that's the reason why it didn't really end up working. But I made a pretty good gain here on PX, basically just enough to cover my losses on Facebook and INTC. Now Facebook is the only other trade I took as a short. So I 100% knew that this was a counter trend trade and that's relatively dangerous. But I noticed here that Facebook looked a little bit overextended. It had not pulled back. So I often tell people that ask me all the time, like, hey, is this a good place to buy, or is this a good place to short, or if it's near support, or if it looks overextended, or the RSI says this, or the RSI says that it's overbought or oversold. It doesn't really matter. Just because a stock is overextended, or just because it's high doesn't mean it can't go higher, and just because it's low, it doesn't mean it can't go lower. So there's nobody that will agree with you more with that term than somebody that tries to buy something at like 30 cents and then it ends up being at 10 cents and they have to cut their losses, so I saw Facebook here and I said, okay, if it comes back under 182.50, most of the price action took place under the second half of this candle. So if it goes below, I think it should come back down to 182. And I was either just going to take all of it or try to make it down to the 9. So I actually ended up getting triggered. I took a half position. So what was it? It was 100 shares because I was going to get out over 183. So if you guys will notice here, this next candle, I got triggered, came right back up. And if you guys will notice, now it's a good thing that I got out because Facebook hit 184.85 and it looks like it's can't stop, won't stop. It just keeps ripping. The markets just keeps heading higher. So those are all the trades I took today. Today's been relatively slow. Nothing really quite set up like I wanted it to. That's why I ended up taking some counter trend trades. Facebook was counter trend. PX was counter trend. INTC was in the right direction, but it's just the market's been so strong today that it did not end up working out. Is Intel, the reason why I hate shorting Intel is because Intel is one of those large companies that people like to get into whenever it's at a lower and cheaper price. So I will long Intel all day if there's a setup or if it's gapping up or it kind of meets the criterias. It's just I just have not had very good luck with shorting Intel. It's not a big mover. It takes up a lot of capital, and it's just not very quick to fall. The ORB pattern just presented itself, and I said I'll take a stab at it. I was thinking actually about taking a half position, but I didn't end up doing it. I said maybe it'll work out. It could. Everything is pointing in that direction, except for that it's one of those big name companies. Just like I hate shorting IBM, Walmart's kind of a pain. Apple, Amazon. It's just such a pain to try and short those companies, and because that there's going to be a lot of investors trying to come into that company to try and get some shares for later on. Let's see here. PX looks. I'm not going to take this trade, but PX looks pretty good to break out here over the highs. I'll pay attention to it. I'm not going to take it. It's 12:15. That's something that you also have to learn to adjust to. Whenever it starts coming to lunchtimes, a lot of traders, hedge funds, prop funds, guys in New York with a lot of money, those guys are going away to lunch. So there's not as much volume. There's not as much money during the lunch hours. So you have to take a note of that. So guys, look at this. It is. I usually stop trading after 11:30 if I'm red or green for the day, whatever. But if you guys will notice here, this is a good example. So PX ramped up in volume around 11:20, and as lunch gets closer and closer, the volume just kind of dies down. So if something breaks out, it's not going to break out with as much volume as if it would have broke out this morning at 9:45, 10 a.m., 10:30, 11, than when you're getting into the lunch hours at 10:15, 10:30, and 1 o'clock. So typically things are slow till about 2. and then things start ramping back up until the last 30 minutes of the day. Then volume picks up. All the swing traders are starting to come in. People are getting rid of the positions and things like that. So hopefully you guys did learn something from today's lesson. I'm down 13 bucks today. Not a big deal. It's a relatively slow day. You have to keep these days that you know that you're going to be red. Your stocks don't set up. You have to keep them small as possible. And when those things give you the right setups and everything is working in your direction, that's when you try to hammer it down with larger position sizes or being more aggressive. So today we just didn't have those criteria, so I'm just gonna sit back and wait till tomorrow. All right, guys, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.